simple. You just double click and it starts. So when you start, it is empty, so you don't have anything here. You have one model group with which you start, and you either can create a new model or you create a subgroup if you want. I will just close my email. So if you want to create a group, you say new and then model group, and we can set it via testing FEM. This is a model group, and here we can say new model. There are two types of model. You can disregard this one, FEM subclassing, don't need it. You can choose FEM, and you give any name you want, and we can say it is called FEM of, say, consulting company. Now we have space, and we have some shades and some connectors, which you can use to connect shapes. And for now, we only need basically two shapes. The one is called process, and the other called asset. And we can use this third, which is node, just to make comment and connect. And we have basically three connections, which we will show when we put some shapes on. And say we have a management consulting company which solve various problems for their customers. So they have a service that they provide, which will present with this shape. I press and then either choose this one, or I can press and use your mouse click. It's the same. So I delete this one, and it's called process. It represents on the high level, dependent on granularity, on the high level it represents a service which is provided for the customers. And we can call it solving customers problem. And we can call this as a primary process. It is meant for being seen outside, and it is directed for external customers, and somebody should pay for it, otherwise the company cannot survive. So, and why it's process, basically it's you have customers, they have a problem and you solve it. This is one process instance or run, and the company needs to run this process type constantly to be able to function normally and get money for it. So to be able to run this process constantly, the company needs assets. We call it assets, you can call it resources, and this is another shape. And we can put different assets. I can put 3 of them, for example. No, I put maybe too much. Wait. I will delete. We start with 3. Okay, for the first we need customers whose problem we need to solve. So we can say customers. Then we need people, management consultants. Management consultants. constant, and we say we need problem-solving methods. Problem-solving methods. Okay, so
maybe
yes,
you can maybe inform them why customers is seen as an asset. That's a little bit. I mean, you can understand that your workforce and your methods are resources, but how could the customer be a resource?
Customer is an asset. You have customers, and basically you want them to place orders for problem solving all the time. So basically you need to have, especially in B2B business, recurrent customers. So the customer is something that is connected to you, and next time there is a problem that they cannot solve, they call you, not anybody else. So it is tied, you try to tie the customer to yourself, because getting a new customer, this is the next service, you will show it is quite expensive. So you need to take care that your customers stay with you and place orders as often as possible. Basically, any company needs to take care of their customers, because getting new customers is quite expensive. For consumer business, it might be less so, but still, even if you take Apple, who produces phones for private customers, it wants to tie their customers to Apple, so the next time they buy from Apple anyway. So there are some companies that don't bother about their customers, but it means they sell only once. But this is not a very good good strategy on the whole. So now we need to connect this process or service with assets that are needed for it. And connection here is solid line, and we take it like this, and like this. It means if you look here, it will be used in. This asset is used in this service. We can change to have more space. We can change a bit. You can play with all these features. You can change, if you click, you can change like this as well, if you want to do it in a different way. Okay, and the role of different assets is different. And if we click on this green, we will get asset type, and we can say that this is a beneficiary. It's company. It's customers who benefit from this service. If we took this one, this is workforce. And there is shortcuts F2, and we can choose here. And this is ext. The ext, it means execution template. Basically, a method is something that you use when you run this service or process. So there is a problem, you take an appropriate method and try to solve it with it. And it means ext is anything that controls how you do the service, how the service process works. It can be a manual, it can be a process drawing, it can be a system that have inbuilt process. And we can add one more asset here, and this is they use some software tools.
Sorry, Ilia, may I ask something?
Excuse me? Yes, sure. You can ask at any time.
Yeah. So EXT also includes guidelines. For example,
Yes.
you have some guidelines for how
Yes.
your employees may provide the service. This is also in EXT, correct?
Yes, it's correct. It can be even in more general as a policy.
Okay, thank you.
So anything that affects how you do work here is EXT. And they may use some software too. You say FEM toolkit. Maybe they use, so we can connect it as well. And we can do it like this. And this one is, we can say that this one is technical information infrastructure. So as we see, these labels are very general. So what it is basically should be here. This is management consultant. It may be a separate box which is a leader, or you can have different categories of people. And EXT is anything that help to drive the process, or technical infrastructure is any physical or virtual, like software. It can be office, it can be database, it can be paper and so on. So it can be very different kinds of things that are used in the process.
And also, if you have different role, not only management consultant, maybe something else in the company,
yeah.
You just make another box
yeah. If a company have several services, then you add one more and say this is software development.
I mean, you can have two different roles supporting the same service or the same in the previous.
No, you mean
I can have
roles for what?
For solving customers' problem. If you have another group of people in the organization.
Yeah. You can say management consultant, and you can have, I don't know if
domain expert maybe or
yeah. You can have software project managers.
Yeah, project management, exactly.
Yeah. So we can put here a new one.
And how many should you have? It depends on your sort of say the things you want to model, the purpose of the model or the goal of your modeling task.
Yes, this is granularity. You can have you can split in different, or you can have one box. Yeah. It depends on the purpose of the model. So here we connect, and it will be also workforce. You can have more than one. For example, if FEM toolkit includes some method that affects how you do the process, then you can say that it is EXT also. So some process guideline can be built in a tool. Then the tool has two functions. So it can be more than one function, but it's not like normal, but it can be. Okay, so we have assets. And the next question is, where do we take them and how to have them in working order? Because customer can disappear, They can drop you, or they can close. So you need to have a normal number of customers all the time, otherwise there won't be enough orders. Management consultants, you need to, some people leave, some people retire, you need to get new one. You may be changing your method or tool, you need to retrain your consultants and so on. So these assets needs to be managed. So we have another connector which is managers, and to manage them there are different processes, and we put the next level of services which are internal. So we can say we have two, and we say this is sales and marketing. And sales and marketing is to get new customers. And again, we can process type. We say acquire and maintain. So acquire, it means we get new customers, and maintain means that we are trying to have our customers so they don't drop. And then we can have discharging customers. You can call it whatever you want, and it means just to remove it from your list because they are not paying or don't placing order or complaining too much or whatever. So we put this one, and we say that this is retire. So here we have only three type of internal services, and they are to get new elements to this asset, to maintain elements in working order, and to remove elements that is no longer can serve the purpose. And if we take management consultant and project managers, then we need to hire them, train them, and retire or discharge them. So we need three types of processes. And to make it easier, there is this plus which will create these three processes. For us, no, this one was from here. Hiring. Training. And terminating the contract. Okay. And we can say that we have the same process for these three. So we can put it like this also.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what is terminating stand for? Like terminating the contracts?
Yeah, terminating the contract with the employee.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that does that add to solving to the initial process of solving the customer's problem?
This are internal services which are for have this asset ready to do everything that the customer wants. So,
like if somebody's contract is terminated, how can that add to?
It's terminating the employment. Maybe it's not a good. So basically it's supporting processes to have this two in good order. So if people want to leave, we need to terminate the contract and we need to hire new people.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
okay, I got it now.
It's not direct connection to this service. This is to have everything that is needed to repeatedly run this service.
Mm-hmm.
So the connection is to have assets in working order. And it's not only training, it can be career development, it can be rehabilitation, when people are sick and need rehabilitation, so it can be different programs. And they are directed to have your asset in working order.
Yeah, it was a very good question, because maybe you should mention that the assets that you see, management consultant, project management, they could also be assets to other services, not only solving customer problem. They could be, for example,
project management can work in software
development or so.
Yes.
So there are more. It's a good question. This is not directly connected to one service. Is very general. These assets could be used in.
The same with the processes. So now here I put just a moment. I put this one, this already here.
Because
this one
of the interesting things with this approach is, if you, for example, take away one of the assets or one of the resources, you can now see how which services or which processes will be affected. So you give also a map showing the organization what will happen if I change something in my assets. So in this case, maybe the management consultants or the project managers are also involved in other services, in other processes like software development and so on.
Or tool. Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the ideas to give, if you want, you can give the full picture of your organization. And just to give an interesting example, when I worked in a project at Ericsson in Stockholm here, they wanted to take away one of their IT system, one of their assets, but they didn't know actually who was using that IT system, so they were not sure if they could take away the assets. They saw in the log that a lot of people actually were using this asset, but they did not know in which person that actually did it. I don't know why, but they couldn't see which person did it, and they didn't know in which purpose they did it. So they had problems to take away an asset because they didn't have full control over. That's an interesting situation that could happen in an organization. That
okay, that's we have processes, and then we can go further and look at each of these internal services require assets on its own. So, for example, these services require special people, and we can call them HR staff. And they can no, the wrong one. And all of them, this is workforce. This one is also workforce. It's a bit different. If I choose this one and press F2, you need to choose in this way. And if I press like this, I need to get this one. I don't know why, but it's work like this. And for example, for
can you repeat that again? How?
What?
Can you repeat what you did?
Yeah, I will put another one. For example, for hiring, we need some good assets with which is we call a good salary. So it's a proposition why somebody will good salary package. And it is connected also like this. And if I want to put, I choose, I need to stop. I choose this one and I can click and get no double click, get notebook and say here, this is co-attraction.
Yeah, you put the plus there, yeah.
And alternative, I can use F2 as a shortcut, and this is a bit different. I don't know why way to choose the same thing. Okay. And for sales and marketing, you need sales staff, and you need a different kind of attraction. And here we can make a connection. The process needs assets, and we see that the process can generate something, acquire something. So we can say that this process which solves customer problem, it's create a new very important asset, which we called reputation of good problem solver. So this is acquired by this process. Acquire and maintain. So if we do a good job, we will get this asset. And there is a special sign that this asset is tacit. It's in the head of people outside the company or customers as well. It will be a bit like this. And this asset can help in sales of marketing as an attraction. And we can do two things. We can take this one and connect, but it will be a bit too messy if we put a lot of connection. So there is a way of repeat this asset, but still it will be the same. We go to FEM modeling and say create ghosts from selected. And it asks where we want to place ghosts. We place them in the same model. And we get a new shape, which we can put here and connect. And say this is an attraction.
Please show once more, how did you copy this replication?
Yeah. So you can copy any object. For let we say what we need to copy. We'll put project managers under this one. So we choose project managers. And we say that FEM toolkit also is used here. We can choose more than one. We can go to FEM modeling and create ghosts from selected, and these are selected. And basically it asks where we want to place these ghosts. You can play in the same model, but you can have a separate model sheet, create a new model and put them over there. So if you want to have software development on another sheet, you can have them and still have ghosts. I will show it in a minute. So when I put select, it creates two new shapes. I can put them here. And I can connect them to this process. So it just shows that this shape is already somewhere. And if you click on it, it will go there. If you click on this, it will go there. And even if it's on another sheet, it will do the same. The only thing, if you select this one and click, it will be a bit different because it allows to change, but you shouldn't do it. If you want to just go there, you can do it like this. But basically, it's better not to select it, just click, then you get over here. So basically, you can also do like this, find usage in current model. It will show it here, but it's a bit too complicated. Just clicking will do the trick. Okay, and this can be placed in a different on a different model. We can do it like we save this one. We create a new FEM model. FEM software development. And we can put software development here. Software development. And then we can go back here. We can remove these ones. From here, we can choose these two. Go here and say we want to place them in another sheet, and they come here. And we can connect them.
Can this other sheet that you've opened right now be the subprocess of FEM subprocess that you said that we should not take into consideration at the beginning?
Yes, if you want, like we say, if you want to continue expand this one,
The sales
on another, you can take this one and say create ghost, and I will put it here, and then you continue expanding it here. So if a model becomes too messy, you can just stop and start a new one and continue working with it.
Okay.
On another sheet. Otherwise, it can be quite messy. So you can have a look. Then you need to save from time to time. You can see that it is red. So go there. And, or you have model and you can have save and save all if you have read once. Okay, what else is here?
Question, Ilia. You had this reputation of a good problem solver. That is, the rectangle has this point around them. Why is it like that?
Sure, it's tacit.
The tacit. That was tacit. Okay. Okay.
So there are other things here that you can use, but you don't need to use. For example, you have sales marketing and you move it over here, and you want to present like a group of processes. Then you take this one and you get a box, and you can start putting here like this different processes here. But you don't need to use this.
We must say also, because we are still developing this modeling technique, so we are pretty open for, if you have some ideas and want to make some changes, make a note that you made some own, sort of say, what do we call it, your own ideas or your own solution, how to model things. That's fine, I think. Try to follow our guidelines as much as possible, but if you have some good idea, please do some interesting suggestion and write a note that you did it. Then it's fine, both on the assignments and in the exam, or in the exam as well. Yeah.
So if you want to have some comment, you use note. Like you put it here, and this, it was too much.
So you can say this modeling technique is very research oriented at the moment. It's,
so you can describe
why you did it, and why you, or if you
should be very experienced.
Can I ask for the assignment, because you I think you mentioned at some in the brief that you needed us to put some textual explanation. Is that what you meant, or did you mean to have a report, or did you mean those little notes on the sketch?
Yes, if you can put notes that explain everything, that's okay, but you can put it in the report, so it's up to you. You don't need to use notes. And this is to connect node to a shape. It's like this. This is node.
Can I also make one more question about the level of services? Like now, for example, this model that you have done, what level is it supposed to represent? Is it the first model, or does it go a little bit on the second level?
This is the second level.
Right.
This is the first level, and you can have several different services. This is assets that are needed, and this is services that are needed to have these assets, and then you have assets. So you can stop here and not start.
Should we include the second level or not?
Yeah.
We should.
You should include the second level, so because first level is just this one. Yeah, so this is the second level.
Yeah, so it's a question to you also, Ilia, here, to the case that they have at hand. I guess one of these services on the first level will be consultant with customers or discussion with customers.
They have several services, and they describe. They have school. They have web shop where you can buy things. They have consulting. So just listen what they do and try to differentiate what different services they provide.
Okay.
And notice also that most of you will have total different models. That's because you may be focused on certain different aspects, and that's fine. I mean, in this case.
Okay.
So in general, you can think of it as a first tool, and then you go to talk to your customer, so to say, in this case, the consulting company, and ask them, do you want us to, is this interesting for you? Do you want us to expand some part? Do you want to focus on certain part of the company?
What you put on the model, it depends basically on what the model will be used for. Right now, you have a more abstract assignment just to build a model with 2 levels for understanding how you can represent.
Okay, may I ask something? Just to be clear for everyone. So we start, of course, with our primary service. Perfect. We have one line of assets, okay, that support the primary service. Then we move into the first line of internal services. And then we have, of course, assets that support the internal services. Is it where we need to go, or just the services? I mean, the internal services are enough.
You need to get up to these ones as well.
Okay, so
not any further.
Do we need to have at least one asset per internal service?
Yeah.
That seems to be a good guideline. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could have more. You could have a lot of them, but I think that's a good guidelines, as you said. At least one.
You say at least one for the second service, but for the first level, try to follow, like if I press this one, wrong. If I press this one, still it's better not to select it. I will get this, and means of payment, organizational infrastructure, and stock you can check, but workforce, partner, XT, and tech infrastructure would be good to have. At least this ones, one of each, maybe more. Partner, maybe yes, maybe not. But workforce, XT, tech infrastructure, says this 3 is good to have. But if you can add others as well, don't bother about money. It's a bit complicated.
But the good thing is that you should think of yourself as a consultant, and you, given the interviews, what do you think is interesting here? And if you only have, I agree with Ilia, it could be nice to have more than one, but at least one you should have. Yeah.
And what is the partner standing for? Is it, for example, partner, the dietitians, the external dietitians?
Yeah, if you use external dietitian, yes, it's a partner. It's not your
Yeah, it's not the workforce. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a workforce. Partner can be somebody who provides a FEM tool. For example, you need to maintain it, but maybe you are not doing it. You have a partner. So maintaining process has a partner, but that's all. You don't use anything. So it's outsourced. Partner is something that basically take part in the product. For example, customer can be both, not in this case, but in case of software development, customer can be both beneficiary and partner, because partner is tightly connected to the project and take part in it. Partner can be testing, can be creating
through feedback.
Requirements.
Feedback, yes.
Yeah. Not only, it can be very active. So that's why there can be more than one label. So I can, if I understand that the customer is also working in the service, co-creating, what is called. It's a beneficiary and a partner.
Okay.
So that's why we have possibility to put more than one label on it. Then if you want to make it more clearly something, you have possibility to define how it look like. we can say this is individual. Default will be everything. Right now it's everything without color. If individual, you can choose color here. And here you choose color for main and for ghost. So it will be like this. If you want to change default, you can click double, right click and choose model attributes. And here is default appearance asset. And if I can say that all assets are green, okay, I can say all ghosts to assets are green, but well, very light. Okay, and if I say this group is, asset group is like this, very little green, then you get a change picture. And it will be changed here as well. It will be changed in the group. So if you want it to change, that's okay. But you don't need it.
It's not necessary with the colors. But if you want to experiment, then...
Yeah, if you want to experiment, yes. Unfortunately, we are still developing, so there is no manual. And there is a bit too many things here. I'm deleting them from the next version. Basically, here you have default, it will be modeling, but there are other things which we don't use, which is not removed. This is analysis we don't use, simulation we don't use, evaluation we don't use, but we can use import and export. So you can import your model and attach with assignment. And you can, there are two ways of, okay, now it stopped working. Sometimes
so
it happens.
Have you explained that the background is that there is a tool developed by University of Vienna, which is called AdoXX, and that's the base for this. So yeah. we use that tool as the base for developing this tool, so to say.
Okay, somehow it stopped showing menu, and the only way is to save and closed. I don't know why it happened, but it happens sometimes. Just to restart. Yeah. And I have this group.
Yeah, so is a
testing FEM. And if you want to, this is for import export. If you are working in a group, you can share by exporting and importing. So if we choose this one, then we can XML or whatever, it doesn't matter. And then we can choose this two and export file. Test. And then export. And two models are exported, and we can import them. It will be a bit a problem. XML import. This is this one. And you can take if the model name already exists. So we can override, doesn't matter. Okay. And we put them here. We can do like this. We can first delete. Say we delete this one. Delete. Okay, and we can delete this one as well. And then we can model import.
That was brave, Ilia.
Okay. And we put it here. Okay. And we have got some. Yeah, that's okay. Looks like it works. And if we click here, we'll get here. So if you have a package which is connected through ghosts, you should import the export both, so they still have connection. Okay, that's all for today.
I also want to mention, Ilia, if they have some problem to download the tool, you can do it, as you understand, you can do it also manually by just drawing, but you can also use this insight maker that you have provided a link to, Ilia.
Yeah.
But it's nice if you can try to do it in this tool. I think it's...
And also, can I also ask, if we model the different activities and processes separately, do we have to have them connected between themselves through ghosts, through ghost assets?
Yes, if it's the same, it's better to
have them connected.
Yeah.
And also, can I also ask, can you have ghost processes also?
Yes.
Or is it just for assets?
Yeah, you can have ghost processes.
Right. Okay.
I think I did this one.
Okay. Maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't pay that much of attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
So any shape can have a
ghost. And also,
ghost.
like if you right click of in the model, yes, there. If you right click on it, like on in your FEM of consulting company, if you right click on the model, not the process, the model itself, on the bar, on the sidebar.
This one.
No, like on the sidebar on the left-hand side of your screen, left side, the FEM, where it says FEM of consulting company. If you right-click there, yes, it comes up with an option, activate. There, the first one.
Yeah.
What is it? Does it have to work?
Both are open. So this is, if I want this one on the first plan, it just came here. It's the same as double click, basically.
Okay, because I thought maybe somehow this model was getting activated, but okay, it was something more simple.
Yeah, it's more simple. You can work with it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can have some navigation. There is arrangement. You can have cascade, you can have, but it's usual. Just experiment with it. So basically, activate is like getting it to the front. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So you can have, there is a grid if you want. Grid, this one. No, this one is not. Here is a grid. You can take it, a grid active or not. So it's like if you cannot move, not aligned to the grid. So there are a lot of things. You can align things, and it's also in menus of some. A bit too much menus. Okay, I will remove the grid. And you can print, and there is a way to say that fit on one page, for example, and so on. And it will generate PDF or a printer. So you can have a look. Everything else is more or less standard. It's not what we created. It's what we've got from the tool which we use.
So it's like a platform that we use ArduXX, as I mentioned, from the University of Vienna, and we use that platform to build our own tool, so to say, based on that platform. Yeah.
So platform is to create drawing tools for different kind of models. And, this is what we could do with this tool. If anybody is interested to have a look on the tool, it's also possible. It's also possible to install full version of a tool with libraries and be able to change how things work.